Look at the carton of eggs today. They sit inside a cold, humming refrigerator. We are completely dependent on the grid. Crack a perfectly fresh egg right now. This egg is over 18 months old. It tastes completely fresh and perfectly safe. It never sat inside a modern refrigerator. It rested in a simple cloudy jar. Big Dairy mandated washing commercial eggs deliberately. They stripped away the natural protective bloom. This creates an artificial vulnerability for you. You are forced to rely on refrigeration. This guarantees panic buying during grid shortages. The food industry engineered a fragile supply. Look back at the 1930s homesteads. Our grandparents preserved eggs without any electricity. They used a forgotten 1800s secret. A $1 bag of pickling lime. Calcium hydroxide creates an impenetrable alkaline seal. This simple powder calcifies the eggshell pores. It creates a perfect room temperature vault. The eggs survive safely for 18 months. This costs absolutely nothing to maintain daily. Commercial grocery chains hated this permanent independence. They could not sell refrigerators this way. They could not force weekly purchasing cycles. So they launched a massive sanitation campaign. They convinced mothers that nature was dangerous. They mandated the chemical washing of shells. Washing destroys the invisible protective natural bloom. A washed egg rots quickly without cold. You're buying a highly compromised product. This industry makes billions from your vulnerability. The modern refrigeration lobby buried this knowledge. They replaced true preservation with cold dependency. Think about the groceries your family needs. Are you feeding them actual sustaining nourishment, or just supporting a fragile corporate system? We archived the true 1930s methods. True independence means reviving these lost blueprints. Subscribe and share this with your family. Help someone currently falling for this trap. We must break this weekly purchasing cycle. The modern dairy aisle is highly deceptive. Beautiful plastic cartons hide a dark reality. You pay premium prices for compromised eggs. The commercial farms optimize for extreme turnover, but they mean preservation for the store, not true lasting sustenance for your family. Once power fails, the modern egg rots. This guarantees you will return very soon. They mapped out your exact spending habits, a perpetual drain on your bank account. But our ancestors operated completely off-grid. In the 1930s, they survived hardships. They relied on simple water glassing techniques, a living tradition passed down through generations. A simple calcium mixture costs exactly zero. It pulls oxygen away from the shell. It calcifies and neutralizes the harmful bacteria, making the final egg completely safe forever. The dairy cartel despised this independent process. A family preserving at home buys less. A self-sufficient household ignores their marketing. So they launched a massive propaganda campaign. They sold convenience packaged in cold boxes. They introduced rapid industrial chemical washing lines. This destroyed the slow natural preservation process. It left the porous, delicate shells exposed. This is why modern eggs spoil rapidly. This is why we feel constantly trapped. The big agricultural machine knew the consequences. But the massive profit margins were irresistible. They traded our security for their billions. They turned a basic human right fragile. But the heritage, 1930s, science remains. The simple pickling lime is still waiting. It rests quietly inside the hardware store. You just need the old pioneer knowledge. You must learn how to mix it. The Century Pantry Master Blueprint shows how. We documented these exact lost heritage mechanics because true independence comes from old knowledge. It comes from reviving what they erased. Grab the blueprint and start your preservation. Reclaim the food security they stole intentionally. Every time you preserve, you rebel quietly. You deny the corporate cartel your money. You feed your children pure, wholesome energy. Look at the historical 1930s footage. Look at the strength of those families. They survived depressions with a simple jar. A jar of lime water and eggs. That is the ultimate threat to them. A homeowner who needs absolutely no supermarket. A kitchen that functions as a fortress. We are exposing their entire fraudulent system. We are bringing the analog power back. Do not let them feed you lies. Take control of your daily sustenance today. Share this video with a concerned parent. Subscribe to help us break the illusion. The commercial dairy industry is completely terrified because the infinite preservation secret is out. The heritage water glassing will rise again. Your family will finally eat real food. We must dive deep into historical chemistry. Our grandparents understood the invisible biological laws. They knew the secrets of the apothecary. This is the science of the bloom. A fresh egg comes with natural armor. Nature provides a thin proteinaceous coating layer. This layer blocks every single microscopic pore. It keeps out the rot and bacteria. Big agriculture spent millions to destroy this. They mandate the washing of every egg. Scrubbing away the armor makes them vulnerable. This creates a need for artificial cold, but we can recreate that natural seal. Using the 19th century water glassing method, we use the mineral called hydrated lime. Calcium hydroxide is a highly alkaline powder. It creates a high pH environment immediately. Bacteria cannot survive in this chemical fortress. The science of this reaction is fascinating. The lime reacts with the eggshell pores. It essentially turns the shell into stone. This process is known as shell calcification. It seals the egg from the outside. No oxygen can enter the internal chamber. The yolk stays suspended in pure isolation. This is how life is preserved forever. Our ancestors mastered this mechanical science well. They survived the hunger of the 30s. This is one lost heritage mechanic archived. Find the master blueprint linked right below. True independence comes from reviving erased blueprints. Revive the knowledge they tried to erase. Let us examine the molecular shell structure. An eggshell contains thousands of tiny holes. These holes allow the developing embryo breathing, but they also invite the deadly pathogens. The lime water creates a mineral barrier. It fills every single microscopic entrance point. It hardens and creates a glass shield. This is not just a simple coating. It is a permanent structural atomic change. The calcium hydroxide reacts with carbon dioxide. It forms a solid calcium carbonate seal. This is the exact chemistry of stone. You are literally stone packing your daily food. The interior moisture remains trapped inside safely. The egg cannot dry out or shrink. It remains perfectly viable for 18 months. Commercial industries knew this science in 1880, but they chose to hide the truth. They wanted to sell you noisy refrigerators. They wanted to sell you electric convenience. They turned a simple science into mystery. We are stripping away their corporate lies. We are returning to the analog basics. Think about the physics of the bucket. The pressure of the water aids sealing. The alkalinity creates a total dead zone. No fungal growth can ever take root. No salmonella can cross the mineral line. This is superior to any modern chemical. It is safe and completely non-toxic. You are using the bones of Earth. The 1930s families understood this reality. They didn't have fancy laboratories or sensors. They had the wisdom of their fathers. They watched the seasons change without fear. Their pantries were filled with stone jars. Each jar held months of high protein. They were immune to the economic collapses. Their survival was anchored in basic chemistry. We have lost this vital mechanical connection. We have traded our knowledge for comfort. But the atoms have not changed today. Calcium still reacts exactly as before then. The eggshell is still a porous filter. You can reclaim this physical power now. Look at the microscopic surface of shell. See the thousands of open breathing holes. See the air passing through the shell. Watch the lime water fill the voids. Witness the birth of a mineral shield. This is true historical and scientific preservation. We are documenting the mechanics of life. The industrial age tried to erase this. They wanted you dependent on their power, but nature always offers a better way. Rebuild your pantry with this ancient logic. Secure your home with these chemical truths. The 30s families never went hungry then. They had the secret of the jar. They had the power of the lime. This is how we survive the future. We learn from the struggles of past. We master the physics they want forgotten. Your kitchen becomes a laboratory of freedom. Turn your eggs into 18-month armor. Reject the fragile refrigeration grid of today. Stand firmly on the foundation of science. This is the century pantry way forward. Reclaim the knowledge they tried to hide. Protect your family with these simple steps. Examine the historical context of the 30s. Families relied on the strength of minerals. They knew the value of long-term storage. This was the era of the root cellar. Cold air was a luxury for many families. They used the earth as their cooling system. But the eggs needed even more protection. The lime water provided the ultimate solution. We must examine the hard historical data. Look at the pioneer records from yesterday. They preserved food without any electrical grid. A famous Midwestern settlement logged their supplies. Their secret was pure calcium hydroxide powder. No digital control unit monitored their pantry. No corporate supply chain stopped their harvest. The physical calcium components simply endured everything. Heavy glass mason jars resisted extreme temperatures. The chemical reaction operated on natural physics. Preservation was dictated by a physical element. This is the undeniable proof we need. Real-world applications destroy modern corporate myths. Modern groceries fail due to engineered fragility. A faulty power grid ruins entire supplies. The historical record shows a better way. You can implement this analog solution today. First, you must locate pure pickling lime. Seek out clean, unwashed farm fresh eggs. The natural bloom must remain completely intact. Commercial washed eggs will absolutely fail here. Wash away the bloom, and bacteria enters. Return the kitchen system to basic chemistry. Replace expensive refrigerators with simple glass jars. You want physics protecting your food supply? Calcium and water are your new allies. Learn to manually mix your preservation liquid. Keep basic pickling lime in your garage. You will never need a supermarket again. You will never pay a premium price. Your pantry becomes a true independent asset. The corporations hate this simple chemical reality. They cannot monetize a properly sealed eggshell. They cannot track a purely analog pantry. A chemical seal operates in total silence. It broadcasts no data to their servers. It asks no permission to start working. The step-by-step process requires patience. You must relearn what they intentionally erased. Get a heavy glass jar from yesterday. Study the mechanics of calcium water suspension. Understand the chemistry inside the analog jar. The preservation chamber is a physics laboratory. You control the elements with your hands. True independence requires dirty hands and effort, but the reward is absolute structural freedom. Consider the modern consumer struggling immensely today. They pay thousands for fragile cooling boxes. They wait weeks for grocery supply trucks. Their modern food is easily ruined instantly. Contrast this with the heritage analog approach. A jar and a powder fix everything. The food lasts until the winter ends, and you can simply eat the harvest. This is how you defeat the trap. This is the actionable path to liberty. You must choose between convenience and control. Modern convenience is a brightly colored cage. Analog control is a rugged, open road. Do not let them mandate your groceries. Do not let them control the supply. Build your analog fortress in the kitchen. Preserve the chemical knowledge for your children. Teach them how the raw lime works. Show them how to mix a batch. The future belongs to the chemically capable. The digital grid will inevitably experience failures. When the screens go completely dark forever, the analog methods will inherit the earth. The heritage pantry will feed your family. The chemical seal will protect the harvest, and the independent operator will walk away, leaving the digital prisons far behind them. Implement these analog steps into your life. Reclaim the property they stole from you. Take back the power of the pantry. Stand firm against the digital grocery mandates. The Century Pantry reveals the hidden truths. We provide the hard data you need. We expose the fragile nature of modernity. We document the strength of the past. The choice is now entirely up to you. Will you remain locked in their system, or will you mix the chemical water? The old methods are waiting in silence. They are ready to feed another century. They are immune to the digital virus. They are safe from the invisible collapse. The data proves analog durability is unmatched. The historical record vindicates the chemical approach. Your home can become an analog sanctuary. Start the transition before the gate closes. Gather the necessary chemical powders right now. Secure the food sources for the future. Build a pantry they can never stop. Let the food sit without a sensor. Let the family eat without a tracker. This is the absolute reality of freedom. This is the Century Pantry Master Plan. Embrace the analog tools of the past. Secure your independent survival for the future. Watch the digital illusion crumble around you. Feel the steady pulse of pure independence. Listen to the undeniable truth of chemistry. The grocery store trap will never succeed. We will maintain the old strong methods. We will keep the chemical fires burning. The modern supermarket is a total financial trap. Corporate dairy structures depend on your absolute compliance. They built a massive cage of digital refrigeration. You literally pay for the privilege of surrender. Every power outage tightens their invisible digital leash. Your food supply is simply no longer yours. It is a monitored node in their grid. A fragile inventory permanently sitting in the kitchen. They sell your private consumption data to bidders. They dictate exactly what and when you eat. The malicious supply chain is always quietly waiting, ready to enforce their arbitrary, greedy corporate mandates. A single grid failure ruins your expensive groceries. You're left completely stranded by broken systems. This is not human progress by any measure. This is premeditated theft of your basic autonomy. They cleverly disguise total control as consumer safety. They subtly criminalize the simple act of preservation. But the grand corporate illusion is finally breaking. The heavy heritage jars stand as silent witnesses. Solid glass containers do not negotiate with them. Chemical preservation methods cannot be hacked remotely ever. A lime solution functions perfectly without any electricity. We must firmly reject this forced technological dependency. The hard transition away from supermarkets takes effort. The greedy agricultural industry laughs at our compliance. They celebrate massive record profits from manufactured vulnerability. Every intentionally spoiled carton is a financial victory. Every forced grocery visit is calculated hostile extraction. You are currently funding the system enslaving you. Stop feeding the giant corporate beasts with labor. Withdraw your active participation from their rigged game. Find an old glass jar and learn secrets. Buy a simple white powder and master preservation. Stockpile the heavy glass mason jars and lids. Secure a massive dedicated lifetime supply of food. These are the actual currencies of the dark. Digital bank accounts can be frozen in seconds, but a preserved egg creates immediate true value. It powerfully feeds the family and sustains life. It safely protects your children away from danger. No complex algorithm can replicate the chemical power. No artificial intelligence can physically preserve raw food. You must quickly become the master of reality. But monitored food systems are only one trap. Your local utility company is hiding another secret. The next locked vault opens very soon today. What is hidden inside will change your life. It involves a cheap $5 hardware item, found resting quietly on shelves in local stores. A simple tiny piece of metal stops bleeding. It makes modern utility smart meters entirely obsolete. It legally blocks invasive residential energy data harvesting. They are closely watching the power grid now. They know exactly when you are sleeping soundly. We will completely blind their digital eyes next. We will severely sever the invisible control cables. Stay awake and prepare your mechanical tools tomorrow. The quiet analog revolution is only just starting. The Century Pantry will return with more truth. Until then, keep your pantries running completely dark. The simple ancient chemistry will always outlast them. We are taking back our absolute total independence. You must intensely study the old mechanical blueprints. Your kitchen must become an independent analog sanctuary. Trade their fragile plastic cartons for hardened glass. Rebuild the ancient methods they desperately tried erasing. The final damning verdict on modernity is written. It is a rigged system designed to exploit. It extracts your wealth through constant grocery trips. It drains your power through mandated refrigeration upgrades. True lasting wealth is a jar lasting forever. True ultimate freedom is a meal nobody tracks. The preserved analog egg is the ultimate rebellion. It is the raw, undeniable chemistry of defiance. A loud testament to the century pantry philosophy. They cannot simply turn off what they miss. They cannot disable what they do not control. You firmly hold the chemical key to tomorrow. Turn the heavy glass lid and break chains. Let the thick glass drown out their signals. Eat straight out of their carefully constructed prison. Leave their crumbling, fragile corporate empire far behind. The open kitchen belongs to the traditional masters. The enduring legacy of the analog world survives. We will always keep the old pantries stocked. Our grandfathers understood the true value of sustenance. They built strong pantries intended to outlive creators. We unfortunately abandoned that sacred generational structural duty. We traded absolute permanence for cheap, disposable garbage. We blindly accepted planned obsolescence as normal reality.